Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And in case you guys don't know, Pillow Talk is a show where my wife and I get together and we have intelligent and fun conversations about interesting things that happen in our community. I am a finance professor. My wife is a professor of social work and a licensed therapist. And so things that relate to love and money are of particular interest to both of us. So I want to start off by asking my lovely wife, how you doing today, babe?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing extremely well. Thank you
Are
for
you
asking.
really?
I am feeling like a trillion dollars, not
All
not a
right.
million, not a billion. I'm feeling like a trillion.
Okay.
And everybody, as you come in, let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Okay. I'm actually going to switch over to the other Wi-Fi because I feel like my connection is not as strong as I want it to be. So if I disappear, just put me on a milk carton and put me up there with Carly Russell. You know Carly Russell. You know Carly Russell, babe? Do you remember her?
No, who is that?
Yeah, Carly Russell is the poor young lady who faked her own kidnapping,
Yes.
and yeah, and she was just convicted today by a judge who is going to make her pay $18,000 in restitution, and also she
Mhm.
may get a year in jail, and they are appealing that. We talked about that earlier today. So yeah. So anyway, all right. So as I switched up on the Wi-Fi, if I disappear, just everybody hang tight. We're about to get started on this conversation. How many of you give me a yes or no if you heard this story? This is a story involving a young lady who apparently decided that Cheesecake Factory is for suckers. She basically she went on a date and she went viral because she said he this man done took me to Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out of this car. And a lot of people had a lot to say about it. I know Madam President, she went off and basically said this is nonsense and that it's BS and crazy. And a lot of y'all have said that. A lot of I've heard some of the guys say, "See, this is what these modern women be doing. These modern women, they want too much. Their expectations are too high." And so, anyway, I don't know exactly what everybody's feeling on this is, but let me know. Did you guys hear about that? C Dub says she wasn't wrong. Okay, interesting. What? So first off, before we even begin the conversation, as everybody's hitting the thumbs up button, please hit that thumbs up, share, subscribe, everything else. Dr. Alicia, the relationship therapist. What is your thought? I mean, could this be justified at all? This idea that I can't eat a Cheesecake Factory because that means you cheat. What do you think?
On the surface, it doesn't seem like um that's a pretty kind of wonderful thing to say. Like on the first date, they didn't seem to know each other very well. So on the surface, I'm going to agree with everybody. But I think that we're so quick to like judge people just on little snippets on the internet that I was very curious about like what actually transpired and what happened. And then I got a fuller picture of everything once I listened to their banter of she and her date back and forth. And I thought it was really hilarious. Personally, after listening to them, you were playing it earlier today. I was thinking these two people are perfect for each other. Like he was totally like talking about he was entertaining her. Like he was listening to her, he was entertaining her. He had his own comeback. He had his own description and discussion about how he originally booked a better restaurant to stay to have dinner, but because she was late, she gets the Cheesecake Factory. And it was this great. I think they're kind of it's a match made in heaven, honestly. But you can play the clip so I can kind of point out more specifically, and everyone else can kind of hear what I'm talking about too. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you. And by the way, the All Black National Convention is coming up in a week, and I'm gonna tell you, I really am curious to ask everybody at the convention how they would feel about going on a date at the Cheesecake Factory, whether they think that's okay or not okay. Personally, I'm gonna tell you, I like the Cheesecake Factory. How many Cheesecake
What's your
Factory
favorite
fans we got in
restaurant?
the building? I love Cheesecake Factory. And so I was a little bit surprised by her insisting that Cheesecake Factory was, I guess, low quality, low class. I guess that means I'm low class.
She said it's a chain. You
Yeah, I
gotta
get.
say what she said.
I mean, who knew that
It's
we
a
were
chain.
scumbags? Who knew that we were just like low level, low vibrational peasants? Like I thought that was kind of fascinating. And the other thing too, I can say for sure is, I'm not in alignment with you in terms of thinking that this is a good couple. I don't think they're a good match at all. I think that You know, Maya Angelou used to say, when people tell you who they are, you need to believe them. And what this man is learning from this woman's behavior from the jump is that she has very high standards. That you take her to Cheesecake Factory, she gonna treat you like a sucker. She's gonna get mad. I don't personally think that's not my type of woman. I'll say that, but maybe she's a woman for somebody, right? Maybe she needs to get her a rich sugar daddy or something. But anyway, as you guys hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I'm going to play this video, and also I'm going to put the URL up for the All Black National Convention, which my wife and I are going to be at next week in Atlanta, October 20th through the 22nd. And she actually has networking for singles and stuff like that. So if you're looking for people that are in the B1 culture, my wife is she loves to matchmake, and we actually have our first B1 baby. Keisha, I think Keisha and Jedediah, who met at the convention a couple years ago, are giving birth to their first child. So so there is love out there for everybody. So let me just pull this up and play this video. Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat. Once I play this, I need you guys' help. Give me a yes if you can hear the video. Give me a yes if it's coming through okay. All right, so here we go.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Look.
Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
yes. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least, you know.
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like, even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay.
I don't know you.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Okay. When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
I don't know
there
yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself all made up.
There's nothing wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, look at my planner, where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs for an hour. Right.
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment.
And
that is not possible.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria. Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing. Which I'm still willing to do. I would have been. Okay. But if we're late, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot. Waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, the equivalent to that?
I literally
you don't understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong with
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that.
No.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So, respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm not.
So, you just want to call it a night? Isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
I'm sorry, y'all.
He's out of the parking space.
If I don't feel respected, I am not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
Well, you are serious. You're really leaving.
Yeah. You didn't want this place anyway, right?
I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already said them, and you've broken every one.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
All right, whatever. Well, I guess I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do. I understand where you're coming from.
Oh my God. Listen, boys, what we just witnessed is a rarity in relationships. I wish more people would be this honest and transparent with each other about their expectations, their boundaries, their wants, their desires, what they want in a person, what they desire in a person, what their own expectations are in a first date, in a relationship. They had a beautiful conversation that a lot of us don't have on the first date. Excellent. He was, this guy, Ari, I think that's his name. He was empathetic. They were actually empathetic to each other. They listened well to each other. They didn't call each other names. They didn't put each other down. I did not notice any, because I noticed some of the comments in the chat. If some of the comments in the chat, it would be a heated argument. They did not have a heated argument. They calmly talked about their wants, their needs, and desires. They stayed within who they are as a person. They were transparent about what their expectations were. I wish more people had conversations like that. I don't know if it's scripted or not, but it's a beautiful illustration of a beautiful conversation that all of us need to learn how to have with each other, and stop pretending and stop covering stuff up and stop being passive aggressive. Because what if she was really upset and she went into the Cheesecake Factory, and then meanwhile she's kind of like low key kind of upset? Isn't it better that she sat and talked about how she felt and what her expectations were. And when he brought to her, he said, listen, I did have a reservation at a nice restaurant, but you were late. And she said, yeah, I was late, but I got held up at work. These things happen. She said, listen, how about you call them and see if they can get a later reservation? Like, that's a perfect example of two people listening to each other, empathizing with each other, and responding to each other in a wonderful way. I am not going to get online and talk crap about somebody, especially another Black woman. But that whole thing aside, I really think she was being honest, and more people need to be that way.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good perspective.
Yes.
All right. So, by the way, everybody, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And on Pillow Talk, we have conversations, intelligent conversations, and fun conversations about things that happen in the Black community, particularly areas of money and love. My wife is a licensed therapist, a full professor of social work. She has been seeing clients for many, many years. And you can also check out some of her work at coachingwithdralicia.com. And this podcast is also on Spotify and Apple. My PhD is in finance, and I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking, which you can actually get a copy of at drboycebooks.com if you're interested. It's also on Amazon. We're putting it on Audible as well. And the reason I like these conversations, babe, is because people don't really. I think people should really be educated on the links between love and money, because they talk about it all the time, and it's crazy to me how much we talk about love and money and how much money affects relationships, like no romance without finance, stuff like that. And I don't really know if we really have an understanding of how those two are connected. What I'm seeing here now, you're telling me what you're seeing from a relationship therapist standpoint. And I respect that, because that's what you do. As a financial guy, and based on what I wrote in my book, Financial Lovemaking, what I see here is something that that needed to be burned to the ground immediately. I saw a relationship that should never even try to become a relationship. When the minute I saw that, that she was sort of doing these things that didn't make a lot of sense to me, I was concerned, because I said that he's not the type of guy that that's a fit for that, right? I said, so if he caves in and says, sorry, you know what, I'm gonna take you to Aria. I looked up Aria restaurant. If they're talking about the one in Vegas, the prices are, I think all the entrees are at least $40. I think the buffet is like
I've
$50.
been there before.
Yeah, Aria is really nice, right? And I felt like he was very uncomfortable with that from the beginning. It's no different from like if a woman is trying to date a man who says, if you want to be with me, you got to give me some on the first date. And if the woman's not comfortable with that, then I think she needs to pick another man. I don't think that there's somebody who pushes you beyond the point where you're comfortable deserves you. That's just my 2 cents. So I kind of feel like I was really happy to see that he did exactly what I tell these guys to do. When guys are complaining online and they're saying, "Oh, these women," how many of y'all have seen this? Give me a yes or no if you notice how many men there are who get on the internet and simply complain about women all day. Anybody see that? There's like a whole industry of men, and all they do is they do videos saying, "This is what the modern woman wants," and these 304s, let me tell you what these hoes are doing. These women, and I guess they do it because they're broke and they need money from their YouTube channels or something. But what I tell them is, I say, I don't understand. I don't understand the language you're speaking right now, because somehow you act like you have no choice. Somehow you act like you have to date the woman who refuses to eat at Cheesecake Factory. Don't nobody gotta date that lady. If you want to, then go date her. She's kind of cute. I mean, she's like, talking about, if you look like this and look like that. Well, there's a lot of women that are prettier than she is who will be happy to go to the damn Cheesecake Factory. That's what my wife, baby. How many times I take you to the Cheesecake Factory? Do you like it when I take you to the Cheesecake Factory?
I love the Cheesecake Factory.
Right,
that would make my day. If you ever came to me and said, let's go to Cheesecake Factory, I would be so giddy. But that's not the point of it all. The point of it all is that when they set up that date, that's what she was expecting, to go to a really nice restaurant. Therefore, she didn't have a Cheesecake Factory outfit on. She was saying, I'm not dressed for Cheesecake Factory. But she was willing to compromise. Did you notice how she brought up compromise? She said, I'm not dressed for this. I'm going to feel very uncomfortable if I get out of the car with this outfit on, like I'm going to some fancy restaurant. Cheesecake, you can wear shorts. at Cheesecake Factory.
She was overdressed.
I got all dolled up. I got my heels on. I got my
Mm.
nice little dress on. I'm not dressed to go to the Cheesecake Factory. So at the end, when she was like, can we compromise? Like, I think that if he said, listen, let me call this restaurant and see if we can go to this, get an appointment at this restaurant, or reservation at this restaurant. Or if he had said, listen, how about I take you home and you change clothes, and I promise to take you to a nicer restaurant next time, but change clothes and we'll go to the Cheesecake Factory. So I'm thinking, she was saying we should compromise. Another thing that I liked about this particular skit, let's just call it a skit because it sounded like a skit, was that he specifically said, I find you to be uncooperative. And she said, really? What did I do that was uncooperative? And he gave her 2 specific examples of not being uncooperative. And she didn't really argue with him about it. She said, yeah, I did that. I can definitely understand why you think that would be uncooperative. It's just that I don't feel comfortable touching up on somebody on the first date. I don't want to. They just had an open and honest discussion about how he expected his dates to be cooperative. And he basically, was able to give examples of how I wish you had been more cooperative. And so therefore, I don't think this is going to work for me. And I think so many people in a relationship need to say earlier, I don't think this is working for me. They need to say things like that a lot sooner in the relationship and not stick with something that they don't work. Now, if the other person is willing to work on whatever the issues are, if she was willing to say, you know what, I think I want to learn how to be more cooperative. And he said, I appreciate that. And both of them work on her being more cooperative. That's a healthy relationship. But if he's like, no, I'm really not that interested in you being more cooperative. I've seen all I needed to see. This date is over. I'm taking you home. So I like that if 2 people aren't willing to kind of back down, if 2 people aren't willing to do those things, then maybe they need to just part ways, and not have a relationship with each other. So wait, what are you putting up here?
Well, you can read the comments, and
It's distracting.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents while you read the comments. But seriously though, I'm gonna say this. I agree with the brother who said that she worships social media, or I guess I don't know if it's as a brother or sister. Sick Kicks Always Global says she worships social media. Automatic red flag, acting like a little girl. I agree 100%. I didn't even think about that. I think that's a great point. Think about this. You're having this moment in a date, and you're about to tell this man that whatever he did for you is not adequate. You're about to basically express that to him. So you go to social media to do it, right? You're in the car. Yeah. He's opening the door for you, and he opens the door and sees you're on Instagram. And again, that I hear what you're saying, that maybe it is a skit, but if it's a skit, it's a damn good skit because that part I'm kind of like, wow, like she's really going live, talking like during this date and telling and like dissing him. On the internet, so I agree 100%. That's a huge red flag, because imagine what will happen if she gets really upset, or y'all get into an argument, or she feels like you did her wrong. She's gonna be going straight to social media talking about, my man did this. Was I wrong because he did that? Right. And I'm gonna tell you like this. I will say, anybody who has a relationship, don't take those sensitive topics. Don't be doing a Will and Jada, taking your most sensitive, craziest experiences and putting them on the internet. That is not going to make anybody happy. I don't think anybody would be happy in a relationship if somebody did that. And also, I'll say this: what I saw was from him, I saw that he was down to earth. She came off like a snob. He was humble. She came off as arrogant. He was understanding. She came off as tolerant. And I think
she was understanding too. I just want to jump in.
Did I say tolerant? Say intolerant.
Yeah, sorry. I think I want to jump in because she did acknowledge when he said, I think I was keeping you safe, I've been a gentleman. I've been courting you. I was thinking you safe. I do remember hearing her acknowledge that and say, okay, you're right. You did do that. I did notice her acknowledging that. I also noticed that she was a person who brought up compromise. She was like, is there any way that we can kind of compromise here so we can have a win-win situation? I did notice her saying that. She did a really good job listening to him, but she also, for some reason, I don't know, if I was talking to her, I would ask her more about it. She had very firm boundaries in terms of her space. So it makes me wonder, like, where did that come from? Like she wants a man to take her to a really expensive restaurant, but she wasn't even willing to touch him or, just anything, she wasn't willing. He came to her apartment. And I guess if you don't really know someone that well, you shouldn't bring them up to your apartment. However, if you don't know someone that well, why would you have them take you to a very expensive restaurant? So I don't know. I kind of like wonder why they got their wires crossed so easily. And, maybe he should have said, listen, our reservation's at 4 p.m. And I know that Aria is a very popular restaurant. And if you miss your reservation, that's it. You're done. You can't rebook your reservation at Aria because everybody wants to go in there. It's in high demand. So I can kind of see him saying like, yeah, I understand you have this work situation, but we have to go somewhere else because this place is not, it's taken in really nice restaurants in Las Vegas. Boyce, this, me and this, like they book up really fast. And so you can't, unless you're really, really, really famous, you can't get, a nice restaurant reservation at the last minute. So I do wish that she had been a little more flexible. She did seem to be very rigid. So if I was talking to this couple and we were, going through the scenario of the day, I probably would encourage this particular lady to be a little more flexible. And I would be curious as to why her boundaries were so thick, almost to the point where how can a man get to know her? Because I got the impression, number one, I got the impression that she's smart. I got the impression that she's articulate. I got the impression that, she holds herself up really well. She seems to be really funny, by the way, some of the things that she said. So I get the impression that she has this kind of exterior that protects her from something. And if she doesn't learn how to kind of look at that real thick exterior, she may never find love. She may never find the right particular person that she feels comfortable with who can penetrate her big, thick wall. So I'm real concerned. I would be asking more questions to her about, why she has this big wall up and what happens to a woman that makes them want to come across that way. I like to approach people's behavior with love and understanding and compassion instead of judgment, put downs, insults. We have enough of this. So I'm more interested in understanding how and why she does and says what she does. What was it behind her going live on Instagram or social media or whatever? What was behind that? What was she trying to achieve in that? I come from a place of understanding because I'm a therapist, and I try not to judge people. I try to understand where they're coming from.
All right. Okay, everybody, I want you guys to know that you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. Dr. Alicia is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. If you'd like to go take a look at what she does, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com, or you can also follow her on Instagram at coachingwithdralicia. Also, you can follow me at boycewatkins.com or Dr. Boyce Finance. And I want to remind everybody that the All Black National Convention is going to happen this week. We have some relationship therapists actually among our 43 experts that we're bringing together. And the convention is a lot of fun, and it's a great opportunity to network and meet other people. So if you're interested, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. And also there's a picture of my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. For those of you that wanted it on Audible, it's an Amazon bestseller. But for those of you that wanted it on Audible, now you have no excuse. We're actually going to have it on Audible released in the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys posted. So let me hop in and say a little bit about this woman that we were talking about. In case you don't know, we were talking about a woman who went on a date And the man took her to Cheesecake Factory. She got on social media and told her friends that she was not going to get out of the car. And they had a long conversation about it. He eventually says, "I'm taking you home." I admit I was cheering for him the whole time. I personally feel I'm going to say a couple things. A couple things I noticed in the video. And by the way, if you just came in, you can watch the video. It's at the very beginning of this conversation. We showed the whole thing. One thing she said that was really fascinating to me was she said, I did everything I'm supposed to do. And I was like, well, what were you supposed to do? And what did you do? And she said, look at me. Look, I got ready. I look good. And I think that was interesting to have somebody really believe in a
He
relationship
really thinks that.
that your job, that the only thing you got to do, I'm going to tell you, this is my 2 cents. Y'all can take it for what it's worth. This is Uncle Boyce talking, by the way, ladies. But if you think that your only job is to look good, I don't think you're going to be able to keep intelligent men around you. Now, some men are silly. Some men are stupid. They'll blow their whole bag on a big button and smile. They'll let a woman's looks overtake everything, every circuit in their brain. But I think that men who are more evolved and think a little bit about their relationships are not going to simply want to be with you just because you look good or just and I hear it a lot. I look good and I got my degrees and I make a lot of money. That don't matter. I need to know what kind of person you're going to be as my partner, how you're going to treat me, how you are with kids, how you are going to be around my mother, what kind of, are you going to embarrass me or not? And I'm going to tell you what, like this, point blank period. I know that when I was single, before I met my wife, if I had went on a date and the woman went to social media to talk about something she wasn't happy with me, there would be no second date. Maybe that's my trigger. Maybe everybody's got their limitations and their triggers. Right. There would not be a second date because I'm a public figure. I don't need somebody around me that's going to be going on the internet every time she's upset about something. And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm also a person. And again, this is just a difference in value systems, right? She has a right to want whatever she wants. But when you're up here talking about Cheesecake Factory is for bums, I mean, I get it. You're talking about White Castle or Burger King or something like that. But pay attention. What's interesting is he made a good point where he said, so you don't think, you're telling me we're not ready for me to come upstairs in your apartment. You're telling me we're not ready to have certain levels of intimacy, but we're supposed to be ready for me to take you to a 5-star restaurant. You better get out of here. That's highly imbalanced. That doesn't make
any sense. And he also said, okay, well, you do look good, but you also need to be more cooperative. Like he made that statement. He was really kind of he made that statement. And what is his background? He looked like he was Arab or something. It'd be interesting if she did that with a black guy, how that would have turned out. maybe a black guy would have put her in her place and she would have been like, ooh, you can come up to my apartment.
Well, you know what
like that.
Well, that's what's so funny. And you did see her disposition change when he stood up for himself. You saw her
she
like, oh, wait, we're going home. Wait, you're taking me home? What? But that's the thing. I don't know. I can't speak for all men on this, but I get tired of this idea that I got to put you in your place to get you to be a decent human being. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I got to be an ogre and go out of character or raise up on you just to get you to be a nice person. I think that, this woman, who literally says, I refuse to get out of the car because you took me to the Cheesecake Factory, and then blast it out on social media as she's telling you that what you did was inadequate, which you never know. That might be all he could afford. He might have had to save up to get to Cheesecake Factory. That right there just tells me they're not a good match, right? And so to be fair to her, there are men out there that will agree. That'll say, okay, you know what? This young tenderoni I'm getting with, she don't do Cheesecake Factory. I'm with it. But I can tell you this: I believe that if he had went ahead and went along with this and made her happy, he would be beginning a very long and painful process of constantly chasing this woman's affection, constantly trying to jump through hoops for her. And I don't think that's a good match for a relationship. I'm going to say this one time, and then babe, I want you to talk. And everybody's listening on Spotify and Apple. I want you to listen up. I want you to listen to this one sentence I'm going to share with you. I said it on Twitter, and I'm going to say it again now. And this is what I believe to the core. I don't believe you should just date a person based on who you like. I think that you should pick your partner based on who likes you. Do you understand? And this is so important. Right. This is why, in addition to, right, right,
Oh, I see.
right, you
Okay.
don't just pick somebody you like, pick somebody who likes you. You know, and this is, and I make this point very clearly because, and this really just jumps into like, I saw a couple of videos where guys were where there were guys that were literally seeking to say Boyce's wife really don't like him. I said, obviously you dumbasses don't know me at all, because if my wife did not like me, if my wife did not respect me, if my wife was not attracted to me, I'm not a sucker. I'm not going to sign up for a situation where I got to beg somebody to want to be around me. And nobody, no self-respecting person should sign up for that. So if you're in that relationship where you're constantly chasing, constantly asking for attention, affection, appreciation, or whatever, then that may not be the place for you. It's like going to a job where they threaten to fire you every day, or going to buy a product where every time you bring in $50, they say no, the price is going to be $75. You bring in $75, no, we decided we're going to charge you $100. No, you bring in $100. No, we just decided it's going to be $200 today. Would you buy that product? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Give me a yes or no. Would you buy that product? Would you buy that product? Because if you say yes, then I need to help you, because you should not do that. Don't chase something that doesn't want you. Chase something that will chase you back. And then that's how you meet in the middle. And that's how you find some semblance of happiness in a world full of chaotic, ignorant, stupid, horrible people. Babe, your turn.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was really worried when you put that up on Instagram. I came up to you and I was like, what is this? Because you were like, don't marry somebody.
I'm
and
such an enigma.
I didn't like that. I ain't gonna lie. But that's the thing. Like, if I don't like it, I'm gonna put it on your page. Have you noticed that on Instagram? If you put some stuff on there that I disagree with, I'll just be like, no, that is, let the record show that Dr. Alicia
don't make
and
me
Dr.
block
Boyce
you,
don't
woman.
agree.
Don't make me have to block you. Go ahead.
You may have to block me on social media, because
I
I'll be
block
like,
my wife on Instagram.
you put some ignorant comment up there, and I'll be like, no, that is not. Have you noticed? I'll do that. I'll go, no. Sometimes I won't even just say much. I'll just be like, no. But that's what I mean when I say no. I'll be like, because I don't want to like put you all on blast, but I'll personally come to you and be like, what you mean by that? So I'm all that to say, I am so happy you cleared that up. You don't just date somebody that you like. It's a two-way street. You date somebody that you like that also likes you. I will go a step further with that comment. I think you should date somebody that likes themselves. And when you're dating somebody, you need to also like yourself, because this self-hatred is where a lot of interpersonal relationships begin. Because some people think about this lady. She's coming from a place of superiority. I mean, she kind of gives that sort of air, that she's a little superior, but underneath, think about it, underneath this air of superiority is nothing but a lack of
insecurity.
It's insecurity and a lack of self-esteem.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And some people think lack of self-esteem means somebody who's walking around depressed all the time. And that is part of it. But sometimes people's response to a lack of self-worth and self-esteem, they don't like themselves. They go to a place of grandiose. And I don't want to point any fingers, because I know a lot of people who do that, but we know people who look down on everybody. It's just like, ooh, what's wrong with the Black women? What's wrong with Black men? What's wrong with, a whole category of people, as if they know better or above and beyond anyone else. That makes me start to wonder. So you really do need to marry somebody who you like, that likes you back, that loves themselves, and you need to love yourself. And I mean, I think that's the key.
Yes.
That really is the foundation to a very healthy relationship.
Yes. If they love you and you love yourself, then you're being loved by two people.
Yeah.
and getting loved by two people is better than just being loved by one. So
And we're Gemini. Hey, boys, we're Geminis. So it's
that's
4 of
right.
us in this
There are
relationship.
at least four. At least four. Well, everybody, this is you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and by the way, Dr. Alicia and I for Pillow Talk, we actually have a channel at BoyceandAliciaTV.com. So if you go to BoyceandAliciaTV.com, you can actually follow the Pillow Talk channel. And in addition to that, Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. She's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, and my PhD is in finance. And I wrote a book on love and money called Financial Lovemaking that you can actually find on Amazon. And also it's going to be on Audible next week. And also I'd like to remind everybody that the All Black National Convention is happening the weekend of October 20th in Atlanta. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. It's the #1 gathering of B1 people and intelligent Black people in the world. And we have dozens of experts who come together to solve problems like this in our community. A lot of our problems stem from how we date each other, our inability to really love each other. So that's why we have therapists. We don't just have YouTube influencers that give relationship advice. We actually have people that are trained in this type of stuff. Conflict resolution. Think about how much better our lives would be if we could resolve conflicts instead of fighting all the time. There would be fewer divorces, fewer homicides in the hood, fewer business partnerships breaking up, a lot of people being able to actually build family businesses. Like that's what we're all about. And in addition to that, we've got experts on every other area, politics to science. Of course, we got you covered in business, crypto, real estate, all that stuff. So if you'd like to join us, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. And that's allblacknationalconvention.com. Tomorrow night, Friday night, we're actually doing an open house where we're going to actually answer your questions. So feel free to join that open house. And if you're not on the list to get the notification of the open house, I'll give you a way to get on that list. And you can also get profit alerts sent to you via text. Just text the word, pull out your phone, text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to STOCK to 31996, and you'll get profit alerts. You'll get a list of AI stocks that I love. You'll also get the $5 a day investing plan, and also you'll get an invitation to tomorrow night's open house. We're building things in the community. We're trying to get things done. And actually, babe, I didn't tell you. I talked on the phone the other day with somebody who attended the last convention named Larry Miller, who is the former president of the Air Jordan brand. The Air Jordan.
I know Larry. Yeah, I know Larry.
Yeah, well, I know you know Larry. I'm telling everybody else. but Larry, who's a great friend and an awesome guy, and he's the guy that took Michael Jordan's brand to the level that it's at right now. I mean, he literally 10x'd their revenue, from what I understand. Anyway, one thing.
Back?
Well, he's not able to make the convention this year. He was at the convention last year. But one thing that Larry told me that that I thought was awesome is that you talk about getting things done. A lot of us are used to people that complain about our problems, but don't actually fix them. Well, let me tell you what he's doing in Portland. Out in Portland right now, they just raised $400 million just to invest in the Black community in Portland. Did y'all hear that? That Larry, with the help of Phil Knight from Nike, because he has a good relationship with him, because he ran the Jordan brand and the Nike guys were there. They got $400 million, and they're investing in the infrastructure of the community. The community will feel a direct impact from this money. They're going to really make a difference. They're going to support businesses, develop infrastructure. This is what we need. We need actual solutions. And this is what the convention does, is we bring together problem solvers, not just people that want, they want to tell everybody, oh, everybody go vote for the Democrats or Republicans or whatever, or this is brought to you by McDonald's. We don't do any of that. We really solve problems. So if you're in that category and you also want to have a lot of fun, we have a blast at the convention. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. All right. So, babe, I'll let you get the last word. So we were talking about this woman who refused to get out of the car when it came time to go to the Cheesecake Factory. She explained her position. He explained his position. He eventually took her home, which I tend to just feel like that was the best move. Personally, I wonder why they didn't talk about all this before. I kind of thought that was strange that she was surprised, but overall, though, I agree. I think that he should do what everybody does when you run into somebody that if you think she's a gold digger, or you think she's whatever, or you think that he's too much, too this and too that. Why complain about it? Just walk away. He did exactly what I've told all these guys to do when they sit around complaining about women all day. That's, first of all, that's just weird. I don't think that's that's kind of feminine, honestly. It's kind of not even feminine, it's just kind of weak. You're sitting around complaining about women, but you have a choice. You can walk away. And that's what he did.
Yes.
I'll let you get the last word. What are your final thoughts on this?
I got two thoughts. My first thought is that I noticed that when she was, because I'm an expert in communication and how they talk to each other, I noticed that her response to him, she wasn't even giving eye contact to him. She was looking at the camera. She was looking at us while she was responding to him. There's something that's not right about that. Like, and he's just sitting there trying to have a conversation with her. And he's like, really, you're filming right now? And I think when she realized they were going to the Cheesecake Factory, she was like, oh no, let me get my phone out, record this. This, he must think I'm crazy. You know, she was not having it. That was her boundary. And you know, that's her boundary. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that he made it very clear. And I think that's something that you need to know when you're dating. He made it very clear that he wanted to just get to know her. He said, what difference does it make if we're at the Cheesecake Factory or some 5-star restaurant? What difference does it make? I really want to get to know you. And that was his goal of taking her out. And her goal was not, her goal was like, you're with me and I look good and I got all dressed up and I may or may not let you get to know me. So I think like that's a perfect example of just two people. They have two totally different goals in different directions. And isn't that wonderful that they had that conversation and he never spent one penny on her? Maybe gas money or whatever, but he didn't spend any money on her. I mean, can you imagine having that conversation after he didn't spend? I don't know. Cheesecake Factory is not, it's an expensive restaurant, kind of. You know, those meals can add up, the Cheesecake Factory. But nevertheless, it was better that he didn't waste his night with her and he figured out, he saw the red flags, what he would consider red flags, and he was able to put an end to the date. That was very smart on his part. And hopefully she can take this experience and she can learn from it. I hope that she thinks about what she's doing, reads the comments from people who say these things about her. Don't you dare put that picture up. You of all people, you know, is able to
how about
look
that
back.
picture?
That's better. Is able to look back on this experience and learn from it and be a better person. Just one experience of many. When she's trying to date or whatever, she needs to understand how she's coming across to people. So that was my second comment.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I wouldn't. You know, I think, and I just think it's generally speaking. You know, as a finance guy, I just kind of think men have to, and women too, should just have to understand how much pressure there is to, um, you know, to be with somebody that has high financial standards. You know, I think that when I was like in my 40s and I had plenty of, you know, enough money to do whatever I wanted, you know, it wasn't a big deal. But in my 20s, I mean, that stuff would have made me sweat, you know, and then in my 30s, it would have been hard because I was trying to build my business. I was trying to invest in my future. I wasn't trying to invest in a big butt and a smile. I wasn't trying to spend all my money, you know, traveling and taking you to 5-star restaurants. I kind of, you know, I think at different stages of our lives, we have space for different kinds of people.
Yeah.
And I know that in my early part of my life, maybe I'd had space for a woman who was academically oriented and we could build together and who wouldn't mind eating pizza together on a Friday night and getting a Netflix movie, right? And in my 30s, when I had my job and I was making 6 figures, but I was building a business at the same time, I had room for a woman who maybe could have jumped in and grinded and help me build something, or maybe we make an agreement where, you know, if we had kids, she'd be doing most of the stuff with the kids and I'd be out working, whatever the agreement was, right? That's what I would have had space for then. In my 40s, when I finally got married, I had space for more of the things that might define a regular life, and that was because I'd gotten so many things out of my system in terms of like I'd accomplished a lot of my goals. The money wasn't an issue as much anymore, and so at that point I was like, you know what? Let me live life now. Let me kind of settle down a little bit, and that's what I think. You know, I think people should think about these things, right? I think that not only the kind of person you're picking, but what stage of their life they're at. You know, like people kind of make fun of women that that want like men that are older than them. Like if you're 32 and he's 40 something, they think that's weird or whatever. But I don't think that's actually weird if you consider the fact that that a man, the older a man gets, the more he's able to provide stability, security, and maturity. And you know, and whereas a younger guy, you got some 25-year-old, you're trying to play house with a 25-year-old. he might not be ready for all that. He might be like, no, I got so much inside of me and I have so many things that I worry about and that I just really can't sit here and just be, Mr. Husband, and Mr. Husband Daddy minivan for you at this stage of my life, right? So you got to see what stage people are at before you have expectations of them. And I'll say generally with this guy and this lady, I didn't see a whole lot there that was very attractive. Now with him, not that I'm not attracted to guys, but I liked the fact that he tried to be as understanding as he could, and I liked the fact that he was being nice.
Listen.
He was being nice
Mhm.
to her, but he
Mhm.
had his boundaries, and I thought that was the
Mhm.
perfect way to approach things. So I think he deserves somebody better. And
He definitely,
she need to
he
go get her
definitely
sugar daddy and call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really good. I think I like what you're saying, Boyce. I think everybody's at different stages. And guess what? It's okay. There's a 25-year-old who's ready to settle down, who's more mature than someone who's 45 years old sometimes. And even if you aren't mature, being in a marriage will mature you in ways that you wouldn't have matured in those ways if you weren't married. So I just think that it's okay wherever you are in your stage in life, and whatever your partner stage in life. If you're looking for a potential partner, sometimes the stages don't sync up, sometimes they do, and if they don't, it's okay. You can say goodbye to somebody and go move on to someone else. It is all okay. We are all where we need to be in the moment that we're where we are right now. And look at you with the picture.
I like that picture of you in the yellow. I think
You do.
you like the big sexy strawberry.
I
That's what you are.
feel like a banana in that picture
A big
with
old banana.
my yellow. We
Look
gotta
at
take some more pictures,
that picture
boys.
makes me hungry, girl. It makes me hungry. All right. So anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and finish up. But somebody asked, what is the stock price for Cheesecake Factory? Cheesecake Factory stock, actually, the ticker symbol is CAKE. It's traded on the NASDAQ. Cheesecake Factory, just as a little financial note, it has a market cap of $1.5 billion. So they sold a lot of cheesecake. But Cheesecake Factory has been a horrible investment the last 5 years. The stock has dropped 41.52% in the last 5 years. It's dropped by 12% in the last year. And I speculate that part of it might have to do with the pandemic, because I remember eating at the Cheesecake Factory during the pandemic one time where they told me that they took stuff off the menu because they did not have enough workers. So Cheesecake Factory is struggling a little bit now.
You know what? Can I jump in for a
Now,
second?
hold on. Let me finish this point real quick, because I want to
Okay.
make sure everybody understands this. However, despite the fact that Cheesecake Factory stock is it's struggling right now, if you had bought Cheesecake Factory stock when the market crashed in 2008, if you had bought it you could have bought it for $8.80, and by this time your investment would have more than tripled to $29 a share. So even with the decline in Cheesecake Factory stock, if you were a consistent investor, you still would have made a ton of money. If you had bought it in 2020, you would have also made a little bit of money there too. So remember, consistent investing is how you build that wealth. And if you want to learn how to invest, just text the word stock to 31996. I will send you our $5 a day investing plan for free. I'll send you a list of AI stocks that I love. I'll also send you a training on how to make money without working that's very popular that we have in the Black Business School. Just text the word stock to 31996. Babe, you want to get the last word? Go ahead.
I just want to say that maybe because of this video, the Cheesecake Factory stock will go up. Maybe more people
It
will
could.
go now that we're talking about it.
That's a
lot of people are
possibility.
talking about, like, that's what you want. You want, like, your restaurant to be the onus of a disagreement between two people in front of your restaurant. I think I double down on cheesecake just on that fact.
I think we solved the mystery. So Cheesecake Factory is the company that must be the company behind this viral video. So if
Yes,
it was a skit, it was funded by Cheesecake Factory in a sneaky
yes.
attempt to draw attention to their failing restaurant. But anyway, all right, there we go. Mystery solved. All right, time to go to bed. All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us for this episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. questions. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. If you could please hit that thumbs up button, hit the notification bell, make sure you subscribe, everything else. Also, this podcast is on Spotify and Apple. We have over 1.1 million downloads on Spotify and Apple now. We're getting it done. Also, we have people don't know we have multiple YouTube channels with our company. Actually, 2 of them are about to cross 500,000 subscribers. And so Fly Nubian Queen, Your Black World, stuff like that. So we're getting it done. Our goal is to bring intelligent Black media back, because some of the stupid ratchet stuff that's out here, that's not who we are. I think we're better than that. Give me a yes if you agree. I think that we are intelligent people. We are a smart community. Be one people, Black first people. You're going to lead the world. Your kid's going to lead the world. And I want you to claim that right now. So anyway, guys, I hope you will join us at the All Black National Convention. We're going to meet in Atlanta, October 20th. There are hundreds and hundreds of people coming, as there are every year. Also, we have dozens of experts, and to make our community better, that's what we're doing. That's what we're focused on. That's what we're using our scholarship for. And I hope that you'll join us in this journey. So the URL is allblacknationalconvention.com. Dr. Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Bye.